Hi, my name is Angeline, and I would like to share my story about petechiae that lasted for almost 6 years. So it started with a single tiny patch about 3 cm long to 2 cm wide, and on one of my leg, on the lower leg part. And then, so my mom noticed it first, and she was like, "What is that on my leg?" And I looked at it, I was like, "Oh, it's just another bruise." Because we get it all the time, right? Unknowingly and sometimes accidentally. But this bruise on my leg, it was abnormal because after 3 4 days, it was still the same size, same color. The redness was so vibrant that I was like, what was going on? This is abnormal. And then I didn't realize that that was point, the starting point of my nightmare. Uh, I started to, it started to spread like there were tiny little other patches or bruises, just spreading around my leg, right? Uh, and then I went on the internet and a bit of search here and there helped me to discover the the description of this condition called petechiae. So petechiae is a form of uh, breakage or bleeding from the tiny little capillaries in our body from the veins that the blood uh, leaks out from the bleedings of the from the veins and the capillaries. I'm not sure how to explain it in the proper term. So somehow the blood just escapes from the veins and the capillaries, and then uh, it just appears underneath the skin. That's why it appears flat. It's not they're not itchy, and they are shown as the they appear as the colors of the blood itself when they first appear, and as they slowly fade away, they turn like what they turn purplish. Sometimes they can become very bright red, dark red. But the rate of these symptoms or conditions, they disappear really really slowly. And I can remember those days before I go to bed. I just always wish like they will disappear when I wake up, but they're still there for so many days. And the rate of it of those like petechiae disappearing, it was really really so slow as well. Like so many nightmares. Like yeah. Anyways, I me and my mom, we visited the hospital so many times to check to have like my blood check and my urine samples as well. But every time the results came normal, because the common symptoms of patients having petechiae were low platelet count, or they had this, or they were active in sports. And yes, yeah, so they were asking me if I was active in sports. I said no, I don't even play much sports. I was not an outdoor person at that time, so that was clearly out of the um, out of the category. And my platelet count was normal after 3 times of the blood and urine test, like in that couple of weeks gap. So so I was asking the doctor what was exactly wrong with me, and then I remember because every time I visit the hospital, it was always a different doctor. And the most recent doctor, she asked me to lie down on the bed, and she was using a palm and pressing against like all over my body to identify if there were any lumps, but there wasn't any. So then she told me to come back again and take the blood test and urine again. So I did that, and I never returned to the hospital to collect the results. Yeah, I don't know why. Anyways, I guess because of the waiting time. I mean, it was a government hospital, and I didn't like the waiting time. And my mom was always accompanying me as well because I was only 17 at the time. I felt guilty to let my mom wait. So, I told my mom that I'm going to be fine. I think I mean, I always tell my mom, hey, I'm a strong girl, but deep down inside, I know that I was crying to sleep every night. So, anyways, so what happened after that? Yeah, the nightmare continued. It never stopped there. I was so at one point it spreaded like around within that small area of my leg until it got to the point of like the worst of it all. The patches started to appear bigger and bigger. At one time, it covered like all over my legs, leaving only 20% skin color, and like the 70-80% ratio was like radius patches and all over my leg. Definitely not rashes, because rashes, there were bumps on the skin, and this was like clearly petechiae. Even the doctor already verified that. So yeah. I mean, I wish they were just rashes lah, because I think it is. But because petechiae, when I Google search, right, basically the symptoms or the root causes rather can range from like the low causes to like the the other the other reasonings, which can be quite hard to diagnose as well. So I remember like I have to eat properly. I cannot stand for too long. If I feel too tired or if I stress myself, then the symptoms will get worse. And then so I entered university at the age about 19. The petechiae they still appear from time to time. Some days they disappear for like a couple of weeks and then they came back again without me understanding why. I just couldn't predict my own. I just couldn't predict them. These rashes, this petechiae, right? So so when I started university, the petechiae symptoms were sort of under control. I guess because maybe I was like distracted with my studies, and I guess I was in a happier place maybe, and I felt more. I also started to take care of my health. I started to like try to walk more and exercise more, and the petechiae will still appear, but lesser than compared to before. And then when I finished my studies in the diploma and entered the workforce, that's when the petechiae came back. I guess because of the stress level and because I had to drop out from my degree, so like the petechiae just came back. And then one fine day, so I was like 22 at that time. So which means to say that at that point of time, I was already having petechiae for like throughout the course of like from 17 up to 22. I think surpassing to 23 around there. So when I was around 22 like that, I met a wonderful um, ex-colleague who is now my ex-colleague. She introduced me to, and she told me, I mean, she saw the conditions of my skin, and she told me, hey, why not meet the Ayurveda doctor nearby our office, schedule an appointment, and just listen to what he has to say. So I said yes, of course, because I have been looking for a solution like my whole life, right? So I met the Ayurveda doctor. I started to read up about the concept of Ayurveda, and I found out that it means like for Ayurveda, if I'm not mistaken, it means life knowledge. So I met this wonderful doctor. He diagnosed my, he asked me like how do I feel mentally, and like my feelings about my work, about home, about everything overall. And I was like, yeah, everything is fine. I think so. Yeah, work is a little bit stressed because I just started work like not too long ago. I just graduated from diploma, and then I dropped out from a degree, and now I'm working in sales. I think sales is pretty high stress working environment. So yeah, everything is good. Everything is perfect. So and then he and then so the petechiae, they were like all over my leg still at that time when I met the doctor. And so he told me that he will give me like some creams to apply on it, and some herbal medicine to drink, hoping that they will, yeah, I mean, he gave me some herbs to drink to detox my digestion, and hopefully and also to boost my immune system, so that the symptoms will, I mean, the petechiae will hopefully go away then. So I'm supposed to like come back every 2 weeks to collect the medicine and also the herbs. So it was nice of him to tell me that the herbs will only help me to a certain percentage, but the rest is up to me. I didn't really understand what he was trying to say, but of course, during the consultation, he told me to become a vegan, and I couldn't eat like a lot of food that were sensitive to my stomach or digestion, such as like mushroom, potatoes. Yeah, even though I was supposed to like be a vegan for a month, but there were a lot of food that my favorite food that I couldn't eat as well. So for me, it was like, okay, it was a very difficult 1 month uh, to follow through the diet. But I felt better in terms of my digestive system. And then so okay, coming back to that consultation, right? Towards the last part of the discussion, I the doctor, I mean, after talking to him and trying to dissect and trying to understand what was going on with me, I think we came to uh, an agreement that I was experiencing anxiety. I was still experiencing anxiety in my early 20s as well, without me actually realizing what that term means. Then he said that sometimes our mental, or without us realizing, like in my case, it was my emotions that could potentially influence my own overall health system. So, and then so we, after some discussion, he said, why not try? And of course, after knowing the background of my family and my situation, he said, why not let's work on healing myself, like forgiving mentally. So start by forgiving myself every day and forgiving the people around me, and also just trying to practice more of self-love. And of course, the diet is recommended to stay as a vegetarian for at least 1 month to see any noticeable improvements. And yeah, and 1 month later, I do notice my stomach, my digestion. I feel lighter, easier to digest foods. At the same time, yeah. And then after that, like 6 months later, and it's been 1 year, the symptoms were, yeah. After 1 year, the symptoms were just gone. I don't see them anymore. And now it's been almost 6 years. I am free of petechiae. Like they just never came back. But of course, uh, it was a whole year after meeting the doctor. It was a whole year of me reducing. I mean, because I felt better and I feel less angrier. I feel much more calmer now after learning to forgive myself every day and letting go of all the anger I had towards the people around me, but especially myself. Letting go, and then so today I'm 80% vegetarian. It's been a couple of years already, and I'm very happy with my life. I mean, I'm happier. I mean, I think the surrounding. My family doesn't change. Everyone is still around. I am still me, I guess. But I get what changed was that I started to give myself the opportunity to heal. I think I'm not sure if healing is even the word for what I was doing. It was more like me just forgiving myself and a lot of crying and just telling myself that everything is going to be okay. And yeah, I think maybe that's what life is all about. So that's all from me.